my great pleasure to introduce the Prince Myshkins today, Rick and Andy. They moved here 2 years ago from San Diego, trying to give Peter and Lou a run for their money on the cleverest lyrics possible, and we're very pleased that they're here. I understand that they've been up till 3 o'clock this morning composing 3 new songs for us. So, yeah.
Thank you. It's good to have that out in the open.
Just before we start playing music, which I promise we will do, I need to read a little disclaimer, because we do sort of a political kind of tinged set, and there's this other kind of contemporary use of political, well, I would call it a political use of music, not a use of political music, but a political use of music that we're just trying to distinguish ourselves from. So this is the disclaimer. Just don't worry, just take a minute. These songs represent the viewpoints only of their authors, some of whose opinions may be controversial. None of the opinions, attitudes, or views expressed this evening, whether in the body of the songs or in the spoken interstitial, aka between song banter, improvised or scripted by the authors, should be understood to necessarily reflect the views of the performance venue, the producing entity or sponsor institution, arts association, booking agency, retained promotional or broadcast media, including television, newsprint, radio, or web-based advertising, music publishing and distribution networks, universities or member corporations, not-for-profit or commercial record labels, legal counseling, and all associated service personnel, including technical support staff, janitors and ground crew, secretaries, soundmen, caterers, and lightboard operators, all of whom have been indemnified against the possibility of legal actions taken by those portions of the public who may be offended by the views expressed within the bodies of the songs or in the spoken banter. But unlike certain songs that we could name, these songs will not be blared from U.S. tanks just before they shell Iraqi towns. These songs represent the viewpoints only of their authors, some of whose opinions may be controversial. None of the opinions, attitudes, or views expressed this evening, whether in the body of the songs or in the spoken interstitial banter, should be understood to represent the views of parties listed prior, who may not be held responsible for any musical event or lyrical event which, separately or in combination, may be seen as disrespectful, culturally offensive, alienating, or insensitive to individuals identifying as a group or a member of a group or groups, including but not limited to tourists, travel agents, talk show hosts, communication trainers, law enforcement personnel, creation scientists, defense contractors, Californians, weather anchors, Arnold Schwarzenegger, French chefs, microbrewers, Constitution scholars, fashion commentators, folk musicians. But unlike certain songs that we could name, these songs will not be cranked in secret jails at brutal amplitudes for hours on end to soften prisoners up for questioning. These songs represent the viewpoints only of their authors, some of whose opinions may be controversial. In addition, certain portions of the content may have been intended as a form of satire, which allows the implication that the authors wish to be included on the list of those whose views are not reflected either by the songs or by the spoken interstitial banter, thus suggesting that the songs reflect the views of no one, which is really not true. But unlike certain songs that we could name, these songs won't start a national giggle fit where all the major media take turns proposing songs to torture people with. No, these songs will give no one an excuse to spew glib jokes on xenophobic blogs or late-night talk shows flailing top 10 lists. Christina Aguilera, ha ha ha. These songs will not precede a hail of bombs or scar their victims psychologically or give the victors venues to express what fascist toadies they would love to be. These songs represent the viewpoints only of their authors, some of whose opinions may be controversial.
Thank you very much. Just, yes.
There's a vendor in the center of the little strip of grass selling photos of Toyotas going very, very fast.
And the lady on the radio is advertising yachts to a place full of tasteful vacation spots.
And I've queued up all my chewed up inspirational cassettes of perambulating mammals in the mountains of Tibet.
And they'll find me steering blindly, unaware of where I am.
If I ever get out of this traffic jam.
There's a bottleneck of top execs and office personnel, and we're all in buggies crawling through a sprawling bush motel.
Now the vendor's selling fenders to replace the ones we've crushed, because this is the rush hour and we feel rushed.
In the overflow of rovers in the standstill of the sobs, we're no longer late for work because by now we've lost our jobs.
And it's possible my boss will have forgotten who I am if I ever get out of this traffic jam. The car from Maine takes up 7 lanes. Now here comes a crane to replace her. An autocrat with goggles and hat. Look out, mama, here comes Speed Racer. At roughly the speed of a glacier.
The commuter on the scooter with a motor for a brain has an urgent need to merge into the no progressing lane.
And the martyr in the dart who looks like Sartre with a cramp is maneuvering off the no exit ramp.
We can never reach our destiny, it isn't even ours. It's an existential punishment where hell is other cars.
And the odds are even Kafka would be happy as a clam if he ever got out of this traffic jam.
It'd be a good idea if the sun was setting soon. We could monitor our progress by the faces of the moon.
But the sun is stuck in traffic and it hasn't moved in days through the heavy congested monoxide haze.
It's impossible to make out if the moon is in the sky where the traffic helicopters are backed up a mile high.
And the road contractors, benefactors couldn't give a damn if we never got out of this traffic jam. The car behind is waving a sign. Has there been some kind of collision? Oh yeah, they've smacked right into the fact that all our road tax goes to prisons.
Well, they better build a really nice prison.
He says, you think this isn't time to honk if you're sophisticated, honk if you're annoyed,
Honk if everyone's too noisy.
honk to fill the yawning void,
Honk if horns are out to get you.
honk if you can't hear this song,
Honk if you suffer hearing loss. Honk, honk, honk. You can honk until you're purple. I'm not gonna move ahead. I've been out of gas for hours and my battery is dead.
as we hurtle like a turtle through the valley of the damned, and we'll never get out of this traffic jam.
Take an axe to every axle, throw a brick on every brake. The invention of the engine was a miserable mistake. Every feudal urban route will find us rooted to a spot on an infinite interstate parking lot.
Turn the Hondas into condos, let the auto thrive. Haciendas between the fenders on the former Highway 5.
If you guess my new address, then you can write or telegram.
Since I never got out of this traffic jam, you can find me in the shiny metal housing program, which is what we got out of this traffic jam. Wah, 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 wah.
Come and visit where I live. It's 20 minutes on the tram since I never got out of this traffic jam.
Thank you.
Yeah. We'd like to play a fast song for you now.